Hi BookTube, welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie, and I thought I'd do kind of a little bit of a tentative TBR. Probably shouldn't, but there's books I'm thinking about reading, including the books I talked about in my video that I just filmed. Talking about my going to a book event, or an author event. So I'll probably show those books again in this video. I don't know which ones I'll but I kind of want to show you some books I'm thinking about reading. It's a little different than my video at the end of April, because I think I probably mentioned some books that I wanted to continue with, or that I was thinking about reading. Okay, so first I am going to finish this book, Way of Kings. I'm slowly working my way through this. I'm almost done, so I don't have that much more to read. So I need to read quite a bit today. A lot more today. And then I'm off tomorrow, but then I do work again. That's the only problem is my schedule is like, it's kind of all over the place a little bit. I don't have a set of days where I'm off. So I have to kind of wait for long stretches when I'm off, like more than one day. And then yeah, I can read, like, I mentioned that I get the 15-minute breaks, so I can read a couple pages then. And before I go to work in the morning, I always get up, like, early. And, I have a job where I might get going at 11, not going in until 11, or not going until, 10 or 12. So that really helps a little bit. As long as I get up get up early enough, which that's what I've established that habit. So I can also walk or run in the morning, get that out of the way, and then sometimes I will read when I get home from work. But there are times when come home from work, and I'm just tired and just want to do mindless watching a movie or a TV show, or watching BookTube, or sometimes YouTube, other YouTube channels. So, and I actually kind of feel bad when I do that, but sometimes I'm just tired and just don't want to concentrate on a book. But I did read a little bit yesterday, last night, right before I ate dinner. So I'm working my way through this, trying to finish this, and I have been reading this for a long time, so I need to finish it. And see, I was right, My dad, was all like, "Oh, if I keep putting down a book and don't want to pick it up, put down a book for long periods of time, that means I don't want to read it, and I DNF it." He just assumed, first he assumed that meant, but, I always wonder, people that aren't like you guys, readers, and people on BookTube will understand that, but people that are on the outside looking and aren't part of that group of people might not get that. That doesn't necessarily mean you're not interested. It's just, you get distracted easily. So, I don't have that much to read. So, I'm going to try to finish it. I'm going to read a good chunk today. And then read a little bit tomorrow. I mean, I would love to get it done the next 2 days, but I don't know what will happen. If that will happen or not. But anyway, so I'm going to finish that this month. Or try to. And then, and I think then I'll, probably get to these two fantasy books first this month, and write my reviews for those. Goodreads review, and then a review on, and I don't know about Amazon though. I don't know if I can do it, write an Amazon review, because, I should have mentioned that. I did not think about it. That, I can't really write an Amazon review because I don't know if I can, because it will be under my mom's name. It will be my mom's account. I shouldn't have mentioned that. I feel bad now because I didn't think about that. But, but this is a shifter story, so, and it's not that long. And then this one is a YA, and it kind of made me think of, and it made me think of Buffy a little bit, especially in season 5, because the character has to protect her sister. She kills monsters. And the antagonist goes after her sister. So, like I said, I kind of think it made me think a little bit about Buffy. But yeah, so I'm gonna try. I think I might read these 2 this month, so I can. And I did get 2 other books from if you watched my video on the my author event video, then you'll see the other books. But I mentioned the other 2 books I got. One was a kind of a hiking sci-fi story, and then the other one was a historical fiction set during World War II. So the other ones I did start reading, and you guys know I also started reading Anne of Green Gables. I'm on chapter 6. So, but it is really fun to read this book, having seen the Anne with an E, and then years ago watched the miniseries, which I don't remember as well. I mean, I only remember the fact that I remember anything from that miniseries is because people will do those music videos where they show clips and stuff from like movies and shows with a song, and it there have been some that included Anne and Gilbert. So like, it was really fun to. Like, it was really kind of fun because when I read the first 6 chapters, I kept picturing the actors from Anne with an E as the characters, and the scenes are pretty close to what's in the book. And like I said, I know what's coming up. I know this. I know the story really well. I wish though Anne with the E had not been canceled. I would love to see those versions of the characters growing up into adulthood. And I do believe that Gilbert becomes a soldier at one point. And I know that Anne becomes a teacher. But yeah, I would love to rewatch the miniseries. I might track down the miniseries on Amazon and put that on my Amazon wish list. Because I would love to rewatch that miniseries from the 90s. But anyway, this. Which I'm wondering, by the way, I think they used the same actress through the whole miniseries for Anne. They didn't change her up at all, I don't think. I would have to double check on that, but if that was the case, I'd be curious what they would have done with Anne with an E, where they kept the same actress. I mean, it worked if they wanted to just make a feel-good show about a child. But I would have loved for it to continue and get the rest of the story. But what was good though was they didn't end it on a cliffhanger. They ended the main, Anne got a happy ending and all that. So they ended it on a good note. They didn't leave you hanging. But there was a couple that was introduced in the show that I wanted to see how things were going to work out between them, and we won't get to. They left that hanging a little bit, but of course the main Anne and Gilbert story was taken care of, which I think is the most important. But yeah, I'm going to read. So I'm going to continue this, and it's a kid's book, so it's not that long. And it's shorter than Little Women, which is kind of a chunkster, Which I need to pick that one up again soon, too. But yeah, so that I'm working on. And then, of course, I was most excited about reading this. Tentative May Tengri. I still don't know. Still need to figure out how to say this. I do not remember. I asked like I said, when we went to the beach, I asked my grandma, but then I forgot. Again, as soon as, I forgot what she said, how you're supposed to pronounce it. But anyway, but I need to pick this up soon. And the chapters are not that long, which is really nice. And it's huge print. See how big that print is? But it's really nice. It's a political story. It's very, but yeah, I've been meaning to read this because it's, first of all, this is Asian Heritage Month, and then this is part of my heritage. So I feel, so I was just really excited to find this kind of stuff. Like, I did not know this stuff was out there. And then someone mentioned some of the books from the Philippines. Like, a lot of people that are reading around the world, which I feel which made it all the more important that I need to get in touch with my Asian heritage a lot more. Like, I do, like, I eat the food and stuff, but that's about it. I didn't even learn the language. I didn't even learn Spanish. Like, I attempted it and I failed. But yeah, like I said, I was excited to read this, and I wanted to get to the history of the Philippines that I got as well, but I haven't picked that one up yet. I didn't take it off my shelf. It's still sitting on my shelf at the moment, so I might get to it. I don't know. But there's that one as well. And then I did start this other sci-fi book that I got recently. You guys know the Time and Again story, where this by Jack Finney, this guy discovers that is recruited by this government agency who's doing a time travel experiment. And what was really cool about this is it's not exactly like, they're not actually getting into a time machine. They're actually using it's kind of more of a mind thing, and probably like, so it's a little different, a different kind of sci-fi type of story. And like I said, the first thing I thought about when reading the back description, or was thinking about, was it called From Here to Eternity, or was that a different story? The one with Jane Seymour, I think is the name of the actress, and Christopher Reeve. And remember, he goes back in time at the Hotel del Coronado, and meets this woman from Portrait he saw in the present, and falls in love with her, but she's engaged to someone else, played by Christopher Plummer. I don't know if it's From Here to Eternity or something else. And Christopher Plummer's character is kind of abusive and controlling, so Christopher Reeve's character wants to, save her from that. But and so far, this is definitely, so far from what I read, it's very intriguing. Like, he's already met the government agency, and they're telling him about this project and everything, and they have a particular time they want to send him back to, but then he's like, nope, I have another place I want to do. So they're so they ask him to kind of, kind of show why it's worth sending him back to this particular time, which is 1882, to New York City. And like, they wanted to send him back to San Francisco in like the 20s or something, but he wants to go back to 1882 for some reason. And then I think he's gonna fall in love. He's going to fall in love, and but yeah, so far it's really good. It's much more literary it's not a thriller. It's very much more a literary story. But I need to pick it up soon. Pick it up again soon. Because I don't want this to be I don't want this to be a situation where I pick it up and start it and like it, and then it sits on my shelf for like months and maybe even a year before I pick it up again. So I need to pick it up soon. So there's those two. And then, let me show you these two books real quick. So, like, these books, these are the books that brought with me to the beach, but I barely dipped my toes in them. There's, the Moonstone, which I don't know if I'll pick it up, or I might save it until June to continue with it. And then there's Moby Dick, which I think this will probably be saved for June. I feel like this is a great poolside read. And at the time I was thinking, oh, great for the beach, but then there was just too many distractions and too many people going around talking and stuff. So it was hard for me to read something like this. So I didn't read it as much as I wanted to on the way, when we were at the beach. And unfortunately, the chapters read were not much was going on. Like one of them was about white, the color white, and the white whale, and then the other one was about Captain Ahab and his map. So I didn't even get a lot read, just 2 chapters, and both were very short. So probably save this one for June. So these 2 will probably be saved for June. But I am going to do. I think I might participate in Ancients-a-thon in June. I don't know yet. And then because I do have more ancient literature that I could participate in it. And then, of course, you guys know I made some progress in Dombey and Son, and I probably pick this up again. Like I'm gonna be reading this on and off. And ideally, I would like to get it done before September. Because that's when I don't know if because I know that September, as far as I know, unless like I said, plans change. My dad is talking about going to London in September. And it's like, I don't want to feel like stressed out on deciding which book to bring because I'm probably only bringing like 1 or 2 books with me on that trip. Probably 1 would be the best solution because I know when I get there I'm going to buy books. Because I want to go to Waterstones, one of the famous book shops there. One of their biggest ones. Like, it's like Books A Million or Barnes & Noble. Actually, probably best comparison is Barnes & Noble because I think Barnes & Noble and Waterstones kind of are connected now. Like, one of them bought the other one. So, I think there is a bit of a connection there. Like a partnership there. So, I don't want to be, like, in the middle of some books. Like, this part of my goal is I'm trying to get out of the habit of being in the middle of books and then feel like, oh, I need to bring that one with me. So I do need to pick up, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell as well. And finish that one. Like I said, though, I need to bring a book with me. I'm going to probably bring a book with me, but not, I don't want to bring, I don't want to have too many books. And I'm not, no, I know a lot of people probably tell me, well, they're e-reader, and I do have a Nook. I don't know if it still works, which I could bring that, but I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I'm I would have to get back into that again, and I'm not into the idea of electronic reading. Even though it is convenient a lot of times, but anyway, so I already kind of talked about this in my video for at the end of April, towards the, my update video for the beginning of the month. Which actually, did I film that yesterday? No, not yesterday. I filmed that on Wednesday. I filmed that on Wednesday. Yeah, because I was on my day off. So it has been 2 days at least. But yeah, so I talked about that on Wednesday already. Along with the other 2 books. And I do have these ones as well to read, but I don't know if I'll get to them. I probably have a good chance of getting to this one. Then there is A Darkness at Subathon. So this is the books I need to finish it because I can. The problem is they're with the characters of Pug and Thomas. And yes, I do like them, and their transformations are really cool. But like their dialogue is kind of like so awkward and stilted for me, and just. I mean, although I imagine their part will be revealing a lot of important information. So it's just, I don't feel the desire to pick this up, but I want to, I feel like I want to get to it so I can finish it, have another series finished. A finished series on my belt. So I do want to pick it up soon, so it's like, I need to pick it up. But, this is the problem when I think about participating in readathons, is that there are all these other books that I want on my own library, my own shelves that I want to read. But then it's like, but I also want to participate in these readathons. As, at least sometimes, be more active in on here. But anyway, so, and it's only 1 more book. Unless I decide to pursue and read some more of Raymond E. Theis's work, I only have 1 more book to read, and then maybe I can present it to my nephew. But, I mean, I probably have to wait a few years before that happens. But it's one of the ones I kind of want to keep so I can one day, preserve it for him, for them. But I don't know. I mean, I know my sister will be like, oh, don't save any books for them. But I can't help it. I kind of want to. So, and then, I am reading The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco on and off as well. It's like one of these times where I pick up the book and I really find it fascinating and interesting, and I enjoy it, but it's kind of slow, and then sometimes I get sidetracked by other books that are a little bit faster to read and won't take me as much time. So yeah, I need to continue this, but I don't know if I'll pick it up, and I don't know if I'll continue it. Who knows? I could potentially wait for some of these books for August, because July is Jane Austen July, so. Or, although this one could count for June. This one I could read in June, because it does take place in the 1300s. So, I think she, medieval times and before that is canon for Ancient Sathon. So I probably could get away with reading this one for Ancient Sathon if I participate in that. Okay. And then a few more books I want to talk about. So there is also this one. I took off the dust jacket, but this is The Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King. This is a book he wrote for his daughter. And I started reading it, but I did take out the bookmark from this because it has been so long since I picked it up last. And I did consider sending it away, like donating it, but then I was hesitant. Because, first off, it is fantasy. It's more fantasy than horror. And it's kind of the introduction to the, what do they call him? What is his name? The Man in Black. The kind of antagonist of the Dark Tower. One of the antagonists, I guess you could say. I cannot remember his name. It's kind of his origins, and then there is a reference to a character, Roland, which we don't know what his oh, that's cool. And there's a character called Roland in this, Roland Deschain, and people don't know if he's connected to Roland from the Dark Tower series or not. Maybe he's a relative, or he's the same guy. But yeah, so I think I want to pick this up. And I remember because I saw a library and a library stamp, and I was like, oh no, my dad took this from the library. But I think it was probably one of these things where it was at the library originally and then they got rid of it. But it did have the plastic on it and everything, but I took off the plastic actually. But anyway, which was very hard to do. And as you can see, all this. But I do like that this has this gold embossed image on here. That it's because sometimes you take off the dust jacket and you see there is something on there, but it's the same color as this part. And so you can barely see it. Which is kind of annoying, because if you're going to have something on the cover under the naked dust jacket, then you want to be able to see it, and not necessarily a little thing, but this is big enough that you can see it. Sometimes they have something on there that it has the right color that you can see it, but it's small. This one is still small, but it doesn't encompass the whole thing, but it's enough. It's big enough to see it, which I really like. But yeah, I'm thinking about picking this up too. And actually, I just bought, as you guys saw, I bought Fairy Tale by Stephen King, and it kind of made me think of this a little bit. I mean, with the premise and everything. I don't know if there's any connection to these two or not, but connection to this one and Fairy Tale. But yeah, I thought that was they do have similar feels to them from the descriptions. And then we have so what I was talking about, I did my shortest books on my TBR topic for tomorrow's topic for 7 on Sunday. It will be considered tomorrow for as I'm filming this. So I mentioned this book, The Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare. This is one of the ones that I didn't hear a lot about before. So, and it is a play, so I thought I would check it out because I don't, because it's not, you don't hear a lot about it, and I think that could help and make me appreciate it more. Like, I didn't hear, I mean, I knew a little bit about King Lear, but I hadn't heard a lot about it. So I think it really helped me to enjoy that more and for it to become a favorite because it wasn't hyped. It wasn't like Hamlet or Romeo and Juliet where it's so popular and beloved and hyped. And I think that's why sometimes people don't like books that are hyped and get annoyed with hyped books because sometimes they end up being disappointing. And not that I was disappointed by those. For me, it's a kind of, the problem is a little different where it's not that I get disappointed. It's more that I'm like, I feel like even though, yeah, I enjoyed it and get excited, it kind of fizzles out and it's like, it's everyone likes it, so of course I like it, but then it's not anything special. It takes away some of the specialness, some of the discovery of something new for me because I've heard so much about it already. So I feel like I want to check out some of the stuff that's not hyped and get into it without being, feeling like I'm influenced, that the only reason I might like it is because other people love it and it's so popular. And I'm thinking, because, like that might influence me a little bit. Even though I'm not someone who tries to, I don't feel like I'm one of those people who like gets into some, clings to the popular stuff. But I mean, if you hear about something a lot, you hear enough about something, and then yeah, it will get your interest. I don't think it's always the case of, oh, it's so popular, I must love it because it's popular. I don't think it's always that. I think a lot of times it's also because you hear so much about it that you kind of get excited and get caught up, especially if something that you do like, you are somewhat interested in already. I think then you get caught up, and I think it's more about that than anything. It's not just, oh, it's popular, so I have to like it because everyone else loves it. I think it's just you get caught up in hearing about it so much, and if it's something you already have potential to like, then, it doubles your potential of loving it, even, and whether that's true or not, whether, like it's a possibility that the only reason you got so excited is because everyone else talked about it so much, so it got you excited, and then it just doesn't, it just fizzles out. Like, it's just because, you feel like a part of you feels like the only reason why you got excited because everyone else got you to get excited. And it takes away some of the newness of it, the discovery of finding something on your own. Like, that's the problem with being on the book community online, is that sometimes you're aware of so much stuff that, first of all, not only do you feel overwhelmed because you hear all about the stuff, so you want to try everything, especially if it's a genre you like, but also you feel like you could potentially only like something because everyone else loves it, and you just get into it because of them, and it kind of can, it sort of can influence. I mean, I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's like, not because it's not just the idea of something, again, it's not just you thinking, oh, it's popular, so I should love it, but it's just more like you think it's kind of put in your head a little bit. You hear so much about it that you have a reason to get excited, and plus it's just something you're not interested at all. And then you realize, yeah, you liked it, you enjoyed it, but it's not necessarily the best thing ever. Like, maybe the only reason why you love it as much as you do is because everyone else does. I know I'm probably repeating myself, but yeah, I don't know how to explain it without, feeling like. So yeah, I want to read some of the ones that I don't hear a lot about so that maybe I can decide on my own without feeling like wondering if the only reason I love it as much as I do is because everyone else does, or at least a lot of people do. So yeah, I couldn't tell you what Merchant of Venice is about except for that it takes place in Venice, and it's probably about some merchants in Venice. But yeah, so I can't really tell you about it, but I want to read this. Okay, so this is, well, first let me talk about, so this is a classic that I was thinking about the other day. I knew I had it, but I kind of forgot about it because I don't know a lot about it and I don't hear a lot about it. But I have heard that this author is really good. So I thought I would try, and I had to double check and see if I still had it, because there are times when I get rid of books that have been books that have been just sitting there a long time, and I'm just like, okay, I'm deciding, well, maybe I'm not as interested in this as I thought I was. Which I do need to go through and scan my bookshelves a little bit and see if there's anything else I could remove. I've debated about the Emperor series, because it's like, on the one hand, it's not the most historically accurate, I found out. And then on the other hand, it's like, it still could be fun. I enjoyed Gates of Rome. So it's just and a lot of people, and I think some reviewers did say that, even like if you're not a hardcore, if you don't know a lot about Roman history and Julius Caesar and all that, then you might still be able to enjoy it. And I don't know a lot, even though I am interested and I do want to learn more about that topic. But I don't know so much that could potentially be ruined by that series can be ruined for me. So I could read it now, soon, before I get to learn too much about Rome. But then I'm also thinking about reading, but then I feel like, well, maybe part of me is a little influenced by people saying it's not the most historically accurate. See, this is what I'm talking. This is kind of what I was talking about a few minutes ago. So I don't know if I'll get rid. I don't know if I'll get rid of those or not. But anyway, like, I feel like I should get them a fair shot and read the next book. But yeah, so that is Margaret Oliphant's Miss Marjorie Banks. Like I said, I had to check and see if I still had it, and I do. But for some reason, I think I considered giving it away and removing it from my shelf. And then I put it back. And that's why it's not on my list, my document list of all the books I have. So, which I have to update that. Now that I have quite a few books I've got from the author event. So I don't know what this is about. Let me just read the back. And actually, I'm going to look at Merchant of Venice and see if it gives a little description of what the play is about. But okay, that's just a blurb. So, returning home to tend to her widowed father, Dr. Marjorie Banks, Lucille soon launched herself into Carlingford society, aiming to raise the tone with her select Thursday evening parties. Optimistic, resourceful, and blithely unimpeded by self-doubt, Lucille is a superior being every way, not least in relation to men. Okay, so that's all. The rest of it is kind of like just saying this edition, every time of the edition and all that. So I thought I would read it before I decide to feel again that, oh, I'm not interested anymore. So I want to read it sooner rather than later. Let me see, before I type in this last one, let me see if there's anything on here that has it. No, okay, so all it is talking about, oh, that was in Washington, D.C., so, So I wonder, this company, the Folger Shakespeare Library, was in Washington, D.C. So I could have been there and did not realize it. Because I had toured D.C. a couple times. Okay, so so far it just talks about the library, the publishing library, the book this edition comes from, and then what's in this edition, like commentary notes, scene by scene plot summaries, a key to the play's famous lines and phrases, an introduction to Shakespeare's language, which I want to read that because that really helped with King Lear, I think. An essay, and provide a modern perspective on the play. Images from the Folger Shakespeare Library's vast holdings of rare books, an up-to-date annotated guide to further reading. So, yeah, I definitely want to, along with the other one, those Barnes & Noble ones I got, the Barnes & Noble edition for King Lear, I like, these are the ones I would love to collect. I do have a Much Ado About Nothing, but it's in a mass market format. But yeah, these are really good. Okay, let me see if there's any. There's preface. So of course it's about love and marriage, like most of his plays. And okay, let me just read this little. Let me see how long it is. Okay, so it's just 2 pages. Okay. Shakespeare is The Merchant of Venice. The Merchant of Venice, like most of Shakespeare's comedies, about love and marriage. But the path to marriage in this play is unusually hazardous. The characters compare it to the epic voyage undertaken by Jason and the Argonauts to win the Golden Fleece. In this play, Portia, the fabulously wealthy heiress of Belmont, is herself the Golden Fleece according to her would-be husband, Bassanio. To win her hand in marriage, he must put his future at risk in an attempt to choose correctly among 3 caskets or chests made of gold, silver, and lead. If he chooses rightly, he wins in marriage the beautiful, intelligent, and supremely resourceful Portia and her great wealth. If he chooses wrongly, he must forever abandon Portia and may never propose marriage to any other woman. He would therefore die without legal heirs, that is so not fair. That's so messed up. So, if he chooses wrong, he still loses. If he chooses right, he wins the girl and wins the one he wants to marry. But what if he ends up finding out that he doesn't love Portia? That she's not the one for him? Because if he doesn't get it right, he doesn't have to marry. He won't marry her. But even if he's cool with that, he can't marry any other woman. That's so messed up and unfair. I mean, I know I think it's one of his comedies, but. And the latest of the caskets prescribed in the will of Portia's dead father is that not only the obstacle to Bassanio and Portia's happiness, there also stands against them a magnificent villain Shakespeare seems to have shaped in a widespread and, from our point of view, despicable prejudice against Jews. In Shakespeare's England, there may have been no more than about 200 Jews. However, Jews loomed large in the imagination because of the myths still circulating from the Middle Ages about, for example, their ritual murder of Christians. Shylock would have been regarded as a villain simply because he was a Jew. Ooh. So maybe that's why it's not much of a favorite among people, because of that part. Yet Shakespeare was led by this art of language to put on stage a character who gave such a powerful expression to an alienation he felt because of the hatred among him that in many productions of play and in opinions of many famous actors. Shylock emerged as the hero of The Merchant of Venice, in fashioning in Shylock a character whose function is to frustrate the satisfaction that we are invited to desire for the play's lovers. Shakespeare has, for many people, brought forth a character who rivals the lovers and the power he exerts over us. Okay, I'm not going to read that last paragraph. I mean, it probably doesn't give anything away, but it's just more of a promoting the play and its importance. Okay, so I wonder if that has anything to do with that. But yeah, so I haven't heard a lot about it, so I want to read this. like I said earlier. Okay, so I just wanted to see if there was a little description of the play in that one that I could read to you guys. And then this last one is a reread, The Hobbit, the only Tolkien book I've read, and I just bought another Tolkien book. Of 3 books. I was gonna buy. There was 3 books I was gonna buy, but like, then I didn't want to go to, which is a good thing because I at least have money left over. Not a lot to buy anything, but But yeah, so I'm very excited to to reread this. This is the only Tolkien book I ever finished and read and finished. Like I remember starting the Fellowship, but then feeling like at the time I was like overwhelmed and I was bored. I hate to say that about Lord of the Rings now, but true, at the time I just wasn't as interested in that one. So now I am, and I am slowly accumulating all of Tolkien's works that have been published by I think it's his son Christopher. Which I'm disappointed that he didn't love. I mean, I have respect that he didn't love it, and I understand. I have some idea of understanding why people don't love it, but I love the Hobbit movies. I think they were great. I know I'm the minority here, and I get why other people had a problem with them, but I actually kind of enjoyed them. I had a good time with them. So I look at it as it's a separate thing, like an alternate reality of the Hobbit universe. So, of Tolkien's world. And I know I'm not, because Terry is also, into Lord of the Rings and stuff, loves Lord of the Rings, love the Hobbit, although I still want to know to this day if how my friend Christina from back in, middle school and some of high school days, she was one of my best friends at the time, and she's kind of what put Lord of the Rings on the map for me, put it on my radar. And I want to know how she felt about the Hobbit movies. Is she one of the people that, was not happy with it? Or was she okay with it? I'm curious. Like I feel like there's a divide amongst fans. There's, the fans that are only about the books and are very protective of Tolkien and his work in the books. And then there's the fans who enjoy the books, but they also enjoy the movies. Now, I think the original Lord of the Rings trilogy was a great adaptation, and I think everyone universally agrees that that's one of the better adaptations compared to other adaptations that have come out. Of course, now it's even, I feel like adaptations have not gone well lately. But anyway, so I want to reread this. I want to reread this because I enjoyed it, and I remember, and I want to one day read it to my nephews. So, I mean, I could wait and read it during the summer so I can have an excuse to bring it with me. I said I would love to buy a copy of The Hobbit for, like, I should do that, put that also on my Amazon, the ideas for the kids. A copy of The Hobbit to read to them, because this was originally for kids, this book. And I could, and after reading this one, the Eyes of the Dragon, one day I could have that for the kids as well, because it was written for his daughter. Now I don't know what the age group is. I imagine it's a little bit older than the age that they are right now, so probably at least middle school or teenage years. So wait until they're teenagers. I don't even know if Harrison would like Stephen King or not, but yeah, I want to read this to them, so I would like to buy a copy of this for them. And actually, there's another. I actually recently added for my ideas for them a fairy tale book, because I was watching. I don't remember what her channel is called, but a new discovered YouTuber. I don't know if she considers herself a booktuber or not, but she is. I think she homeschools her kids, and they're in a special program that like a. I don't remember what the schooling program is called, but it's a mix of including religion and Christianity and combining that with education. And that whole, it was really fascinating. It was really interesting considering how the modern education system versus that education system. And how, like, the problem, how in the complicated relationships with us and religion. So if you are the person who's interested in that, I wish I remember what the channel was called. But anyway, so she was talking about fairy tales and the importance of reading fairy tales, how, like, it teaches kids a lot of things, and it's important to read kids fairy tales because, there are some parents who, like, they want to teach their kids about the real world, so they're like, why don't you teach your kids introduce them to real world stories? And it's like, that's, I understand where that is coming from, but fairy tales teach kids about what is right and what is wrong and good and evil. And yes, there's fantasy elements in it and there's magic, but it's not the magic, like, there's a clear cut it's clear cut who is evil and who's using dark magic and who uses light magic. Not all magic is, like, evil and devil worship. Magic is just magic. And it's just, and it's kind of, and it still teaches kids a lot of good things. And, like, yes, the world is complicated as they get older, but how are you going to explain that to them? Like, you're going to explain to them that really early on in life when they're too young to understand it? Start with something simple like fairy tales. And what's, like, in this channel, this person probably explains it a lot better than I do. I mean, I could find the link to the video and show it to you guys. Maybe I'll do that because I think it was a really interesting video. Of course, but anyway, so yeah, she was talking about that, and it made me think. Oh, I have always wanted to give them a book of the original Grimm's fairy tales. So, which I do now. They might have that. So what I need to do before I consider that is to maybe send a link to my sister and be like, hey, can I maybe at some point get this for them? And I probably have to explain to her. Of course, with The Hobbit, I don't know if she'll believe me when I say that this was a kid's book originally, meant for kids. But and now I have to explain to them, don't go by the movies, okay? Don't go by the movies. That doesn't mean that the movies are not the best adaptation. They don't adapt in a way that, reflects what this book is really like. Again, I like it as a movie. As an adaptation, it's not good. It's not the best adaptation, but it's a good movie. But anyway. So, like I said, I want to get them that one, and then I want to get them a copy of The Hobbit at some point. So, so now the copy that I was looking at for The Hobbit before, I took it off my Amazon wish list, but I might put that copy on. I might put it on my ideas for the kids wish. But I need to go through, look through them and stuff. Or like be like at some point in the future. But anyway, so I'm gonna stop talking. So like I said, that is my tentative TBR, along with talking about a few other things. Like I said, there's other books I considered. These I might not even get to all of these, but like I'm still working my way through Way of Kings. I'm trying to finish this before the end of the month. And I want to read a few, I want to include a few more. There's other books that I don't want to take into June. Like, I want to read this one and The Merchant of Venice, and I want to at least start Miss Marjorie Banks, and then, like, at least Anne of Green Gables is one that is originally a children's book, so I can at least, that one, like The Hobbit, might not take as long to read. But I would just, And then those ones I got from the author event, I want to get to those soon because I would love to make sure I do a review on them. And I think because it's a review that's well, I don't know. I don't know if I'll do that. I was gonna say that I might show it to my dad, but I don't know. I mean, I've never really, and like I said, the problem is I don't have an Amazon account. I use my mom's account to order things online, and then there's my dad's account. So I don't know if that, like, with reviewing them, I couldn't put the review on Amazon. I could, I mean, I would have to see what my dad would say. I would probably ask him about and see what he would think, like, about doing a review on Amazon, like, although you don't have to, although it doesn't look like you have to put your name on there. I have to look at the Amazon reviews for books to see if, like, do you have to put your name on there, or can I, although your name is on your account, I think, if you have an account, Amazon Prime account, your name is on there, so, I don't know if you can just go on there and leave a review. Do you have to have an account? I don't know. But anyway, so if you guys liked this video, this tentative TBR video, please give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell notification below if you want to be notified about my latest videos. And I would love to hear what you're gonna read in May. So feel free to share in the comments below. I don't know if I said anything about that in the video last Wednesday. Maybe I did. But again, I'm saying it again. If you want to share what I've, although that video probably didn't go up, or maybe it went up at the end of Wednesday. Like I said, I filmed it on Wednesday, so I don't know when it went up. It might have not gone up until Thursday. I can't remember. I mean, it might have gone up on Wednesday night because I was uploading another video. I wanted to get out of the way. I wanted to upload first, but I will hope you are enjoying your reading, and I will talk to you all later. All right, bye.